So I've had this lovely message of this guy, and people think that you don't read messages, but I try and read every single one. I might not reply to them all, and I will try and do a video to help as many people as I can. But first of all, it's great to get a message like this. It does. It doesn't matter how many followers you got, whether it's 700, 7,000, 70,000, 7 million. If you see these messages, they're great. So I'm going to try and respond and help you as much as I physically can. First of all, you've absolutely done the right thing. Buying your own home, no matter what your background is, no matter how much money you earn, what type of job you've got, what your risk to reward ratio is, it doesn't matter. You should absolutely buy your own home. I think I'm going to start a campaign to get Great Britain buying, because everyone should be trying to buy their own home. And what you've done here is you have absolutely used your position of strength to then refinance and look to reinvest that money in your next project. And the next project that you've bought has then got a piece of land next to it which you've got planning permission for. What a great position to be in. And the thing is the compounding effect is that when you start doing these sorts of things, the universe sort of listens to you, and the great deals start becoming like attracted to you, like a moth to a flame, and you've now got another deal. I mean, try and put 10 times on this, and that's the position you'll get yourself in not too long of a distant future. But the issue you've got, and it's not an issue, it's just you need some direction, which is absolutely fine, is you've got your build and plot with planning permission, and you're going to use your cash to do the work, which is fine, but you want to use that cash to do another deal, which is absolutely the right thing to do. So all you need is a small loan to do the work. Now, you can do this in the form of bridging loan, or you can do it in the form of development finance. Development finance is probably your cheaper option here, but it's not without its issues and hurdles to overcome. I've always found it very problematic and such a long-winded process. But development finance effectively gives you a loan to purchase the land, but you already own it, so you might get a bit of cash paid up front, and they'll do a valuation on that piece of land, and they'll give you 50, 60, maybe even 70% of the value of that up front. And then they'll give you a fund to draw down on to pay for the construction, and they'll do it on a stage process, and they'll send a surveyor out probably every time you want to draw funds down, and you'll probably have to draw those funds down in arrears. So you'll have to pay for the next 40k, and then when you hit that bracket, you then draw that down. Now, compared to bridging on interest rate, it's cheaper. It's like bridging might be 12%, this might be 8%. But every time I've done development funding, I found the process of drawing down funds, getting a surveyor out, to be a bit of a ball ache, really. And I've had a couple of incidents where we had a rogue builder putting in false invoices or work that he hadn't done, and I spotted it, and he was friends with the finance director, and I was like, look, we can't allow this to happen. If the lender comes and sends a surveyor down, they're going to see that there's a problem, they're going to suspend lending, which they did, so we had to fund the development. So it was all sorts of problems. The last few smaller projects that I've done, new builds this is, I've actually just used my local bridging lender, and you can't get introduced to him via any of my brokers. So if you don't get anywhere with development funding, then message me again or send me a message on Linktree, and I'll get you introduced to this bridging lender. But effectively what he does is he funds the purchase, and he agrees a facility, and as long as you send him the photos of the work that you've done, you don't need to do an inspection, which will save you 5, 6, 7, 800 quid a time. And yes, he'll draw down the funds in arrears, so you would have had to fund it, but the process is seamless. You put the request in and you get them the next day, and I think I'd much rather know where I stand and pay that few extra percent for what is effectively an easier life. But those are your two options, really. Or I suppose there is a third. You could find a private funder who may lend you all of the money up front. If that land is unencumbered, you could give them a charge over the land and then crack on. And there's people out there that will do that for you. So it's a case of preference, really. Personally, I haven't done a joint venture for a long time. I don't work with new investors that often. I have got a couple of deals at the moment where I'm talking to some new investors. But personally, for ease, I'd just much rather have a bridge and loan with my local lender and do everything over a text message and draw the funds down. But when all is said and done, it's all just a means to an end. And in a year's time, when you've refinanced that deal out, you won't even remember how you funded the development, because you'll be on to the next one. And that's the beauty of property. It's just getting it done. Don't worry about the detail. Don't worry about the costs. It will always pay you back like 3-4 times over. So just crack on.